All right, diving back into it now. We've got, 11 days until the election, something like that. All trend lines show Donald Trump is in a good position to be elected the 47th president of the United States. It'll be only the second time in American history that a person gets elected to non-consecutive terms, but that's where it's trending today. Joining me now is Bianca de la Garza, 10-time Emmy nominated award-winning journalist who joined Newsmax in 2021. Currently is the solo host of Newsline and Newswire. Spent over 20 years working in newsrooms for ABC, Fox, and stations across America, covering major global news events. Good to have you here, Bianca.
Hey, Steve, good morning to you and your audience. It's great to be here.
And you've got a brand new book incoming on the front lines of the left's war on truth. Now, I'll tell my story real quickly. I left NBC in the year 2000. I decided that not only was the cesspool shallow, but it was uninviting. So I decided to leave the local news in Columbus, Ohio as my last stop, working for NBC directly. But man, I was disenchanted and frightened by the left lurch then, and it has gone so far since. I mean, Bianca, it is nothing today like it was back then. I mean, I watched CBS News in 60 Minutes destroy their reputation in 60 seconds, and I'm just ashamed. I'm embarrassed for them, right?
Yeah, I am too. And I'm also grateful that there's outlets like your show, Newsmax, and everything that is accessible after Elon bought X, right? I think
Right.
that was a big thing when the charade and the veil sort of was lifted on people's eyes. It's so pervasive. I call it a rot, and I do tackle that in my new book, Incoming, because I really am on the front lines, like you are, of so much of this information war. But now it's become weaponized in a way where there is a historic election. We're 12 days away, and Americans, if they're not getting the information, now it becomes sort of this existential threat when the media has become truly just a propaganda arm. But Steve, I don't know about you. I feel like one thing we saw this political season that was unlike, I mean, we know that they've been sort of, the legacy media has been pulling this for a long time. You mentioned the 60 Minutes. But this truncated season, which I kind of encapsulated in my book, showed us the ridiculousness of it and the danger of it. Joe Biden's great. Let's reinstall Kamala. She's great. The time of that, I think, and the switch was fortuitous for some people who maybe were still clinging to some hope that their, fake news wasn't fake.
Yeah. I look at I look at all these things that are happening, and the way that, well, just the way Kamala Harris went out yesterday and held, quote unquote, a press conference when she sat there and compared Donald Trump to Hitler directly, and a guy who killed 6 million Jews, and the news media just reports it as if it's straight, as if this is normal. This is not normal. Donald Trump was president for 4 years. I don't remember him lining up and shooting anybody. I must have missed that on the evening news. I mean, honestly, and they just let it go. And Donald Trump calls him out for lying about the Hunter laptop or Russia, and they attack him. Oh, Donald Trump has baseless allegations that the Russian hoax was not true. Of course it was not true. It is remarkable.
The press conference yesterday happened during my 12 to 2 show on Newsmax. And that's right, because I'm plugged in and I'm aware of this, propaganda, we can call that out. And the way they purported that to be some type of official statement with the flags flanking her, with the microphone set up, that right there is ultimate deception as well, because it's optics, right? It looks like it's the official statement from the vice president. So they even go to a deeper level here. It's just so sick that they did that. And you're right. If you're watching another outlet, if you're watching legacy media and they have to, keep their self-preservation with their overlords and have sold every piece of moral standards that they have and any shred of journalistic integrity, they would sell that to you, that's real. But all of this now is just becoming sort of a joke in a way, I think, because Americans are saying, I don't believe you, Kamala. If you watch some of the answers on that town hall, I don't think you're smart. I don't think you're capable. I know you didn't get one single vote to be here. And the sort of fact that the Democrats thought they could get away with this is somewhat now, I think, to their own detriment. And they pushed it too far this one time around. Thank goodness, though, that we're in a situation where America can actually be recalibrated. I believe there's a lot of hope for this country. I write about that despite 2 assassination attempts, despite all the dangerous rhetoric that you just talk about, and despite the media's, role in all of this. Kind
I
of
think it's correctable as well, Bianca. I think that we can bring this country back in line and get back on track. A lot of things have to happen, and one term of a president is not going to change that. There has to be a reckoning with all of these things going on, whether it's the economy, energy, the open border, spending billions of dollars on wars that Americans want nothing to do with in Europe. All of these things, we have to have a reckoning on all of these topics and have discussions about it and do the right thing. And frankly, you can look at some of the topics that the left embraces. Transgenderism, I'll use this. It's a very easy example. If you put that on the ballot in the bluest of blue states, Massachusetts, California, New York, it would get rejected 9-1. And yet, for some reason, these politicians and the people on corporate media keep pushing these ideas as if it's normal. Dismembering and disfiguring children in pursuit of some fantasy is not normal. And I don't mind saying it. This is not normal. I'm a parent. This is not a normal path, right?
No, as am I. My daughter's 18 years old. So in the past few years, I've had to, navigate some of that transgender, mania
Crap.
with her.
Go ahead, say
It
it.
is
I'll say it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And, and I also call it the fact that this administration, puts out people like Rachel Levine, who's a man in a skirt as the Health and Human Services Secretary. That is not normal.
Right.
And someone saying puberty blockers are okay.
Again, I dare the Democrats. Put
not
that on a
normal.
ballot anywhere in the bluest of blue places. Put it on the ballot and watch yourself get pummeled at the ballot box. You would get destroyed because everybody knows that's garbage. And yet they push this stuff.
They do push it, and then you know what they do? They do this sort of really sick game where if you say, well, this is absolutely children mutilation, this is abuse, they say, well, you're transphobic, right? Their
Right.
only attack they have back at you is to try to make you feel small and bigoted, and they do that also with the racial tensions that they like to sort of fan the flames.
Well, right.
of.
They smear. They attack. They smear. They
Fully
go after
tactic.
your right. They just try to destroy who you are, destroy your reputation. All right. The book is incoming, On the Front Lines of the Left's War on Truth. I assume that it's out now, right, Bianca?
It is out. We just hit #2 on Amazon, Steve. So very, very grateful and excited that we have this discussion happening and before the election too.
Yeah, very important. Bianca, you come back anytime. Nice meeting you. I don't know that we've met before. I'm glad you're here. I'd have you back anytime. On the Front Lines of the Left's War on Truth. The book is incoming. Please go find it, support it, because the truth is an endangered species in the media today. Very few true journalists living in the wild anymore. We need to protect those that are out there. Bianca?
That's right.
You.
We're on the front line, Steve. Pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Have a great day. There you have it. Bianca de la Garza, 10-time Emmy nominated, award-winning journalist. All right. There you have it. Incoming on the front lines of the left's war on truth. And what she said there is true. You can't trust the mainstream media. You can't. Look at what they do. Look at CBS News. What an embarrassment they have become onto themselves. Onto themselves. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, the economy, the number one issue. Number one. We'll be right back.